Hello, all you scaredy cats and kittens, and welcome to the Two Scaredy Cats podcast, where we talk about all things strange, unusual, and paranormal. We're your hostess with the mostest. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Kara.
So, Kara, what have we been up to recently? Well, I know just the other day we celebrated your bridal shower, and we had all your girlfriends over for a little sleepover or whatever. But,
Yep.
What else have you been up to? Anything?
Nope. I don't do anything.
Nothing? Not a thing?
Okay. Nope, nothing to do.
I find that hard to believe.
Just remember when we were talking about the alien?
Yeah, that weird alien thing that you guys were carrying on about.
It's a fake alien.
Yes.
It was like the same alien from before, but they just like moved some stuff around with the corpse.
Oh, that is terrible.
And there was like stuff wrong with like the bone structure that didn't make any sense, so then they fixed it and then tried to be like, oh, look, it's fixed now.
Oh, jeez.
And it's like a meme right now going around.
Oh, goodness. That's crazy. I just saw something come across my Reddit feed, and I know you got to take Reddit with a grain of salt sometimes, but somebody had posted that their Mothman was sighted actually at a festival not the Mothman festival, but a different festival over the weekend. A bunch of people were jumping on that thread talking about that, which I thought was really interesting. But I haven't had any time to like go and investigate to see what they were. So maybe I'll check that out and get back with everybody when we're on here in a couple weeks again. But yeah, I mean, other than that, other than getting ready for your wedding and the shower yesterday, it's been kind of quiet. We haven't been really doing too much of anything.
Just preparing for our trip.
Exactly. Just, yeah, for our big trip to Vegas this coming weekend. So I'm sure there'll be some spooky stories to tell you guys when we get back.
Our next episode will probably be about something we're doing in Vegas. Ooh.
Yep.
And our experiences.
We're going to go check out something spooky while we're there. Yeah. So you should tune in next time so you can check it out to hear where we went and what, if anything,
and
happened
just in
to
general,
any of
too.
us. And if we're cursed if we're cursed from it, or our experience, or what. But we'll find out. I wonder if I brought holy water to that, what would happen to it? I wonder if it would like boil or something.
I don't know if you should try that. Let's not make the ghost sing.
Yeah, I don't want to piss them off. Yeah, probably not a good idea, especially at this place. All right, so I guess today I went first last week. So, Kara, I believe you're up first this week. So what do you have for us this week?
Well, we're going to be talking about the Superstition Mountain Range and some of the interesting stuff
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it either until I randomly found it. And I'm actually going to be in the area where this is in like less than a month for another wedding I'm going to.
Okay.
So, and we're renting a car, so it means you could potentially drive out there.
Oh, that'll be fun.
I know.
You should go see some cool stuff while you're in Phoenix. There are some really neat places to go.
Well, yeah, it's in the desert. So, there's actually a ghost town near it, right next to it.
No,
that's
stop.
Why
you have to go. You have to go.
Well, we're going to hear about all the interesting history of this area. It's apparently one of like the most dangerous places you can, like, hikers can go to, just because of where it is and like location and desert
how
stuff.
hot it is and
well, just the nature, and like you can like fall into like a mine. It's like a thing that can happen, like, and you just die. So a lot of people go missing because of that, and then there's other insane stories within the area. I mean, it's already an interesting location if it's called the Superstition Mountains. It's very superstitious, which I'm like surprised I never heard about it before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, it is located east of Phoenix, Arizona. That's where this is all happening. So some history about it. First Spanish conquistadors arrived in that area around 1540, and they were looking for the 7 golden cities of Cibola. I don't know if I said that right.
In Phoenix, they were looking for this?
Yes, this was like during the gold era, you know?
I didn't know there were 7 hidden cities of
I
gold.
didn't know that. I've never heard of this either.
I've never heard of that. That sounds made up and weird, but okay.
Well, so the Native Americans in that area.
So this is like a Native American.
Yes,
story.
This is like. Yes, this is.
Well, you
Native
didn't say that. You made it sound like it was like the conquistadors.
This is the Spanish. No, the Spanish conquistadors were going to the mountain, and they were talking to the Native Americans who were living in that area at the time.
Okay. And they heard the story from the Native Americans, correct? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, the Native Americans told them that the mountains were filled with gold. Oh, okay. However, they warned them that it was home to the thunder god.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of the thunder god. I forget what the name is.
The thunder god was said to kill anyone who tried to set foot on the sacred land.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, that's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets a little crazy. So as they continued up the mountain, they discovered that if any men strayed away from the group, like just for a little bit, they would disappear, and they would then find the body mutilated and decapitated.
Ew. That sounds pretty brutal.
This happened... Yeah, I know. This is, like, crazy. I was like, I never heard this before.
No, I've never heard this either. Huh.
And this happened a few times before they decided it was too dangerous to continue up the mountain. And then, so this is where it really becomes popular and why it's like a tourist destination kind of thing now.
Okay.
There was a legend about a German immigrant, Jacob Waltz, who revealed on his deathbed that there was a location of a hidden gold mine in that area, which led to many people searching all over for the treasure, and it's now known as the Lost Dutchman Mine.
Oh, okay.
You might have heard this.
Yes, I've heard.
You've
of the
probably
Lost
heard
Dutchman.
this, yeah.
Yeah, mine.
Well, the Lost Dutchman Mine is like allegedly in that area, so everyone is searching for this.
Yeah,
and like so many people. Haul. Yeah, so like so many people would go searching in this area for the treasure.
Huh.
So there's like a lot of people who would go there, and then crazy stuff would happen.
All right,
you know?
So wait, let me make sure I'm understanding this. So we're talking about the Lost Dutchman, like the Dutchman of the pirates.
No,
Dutchman,
that's
correct?
a different Dutchman.
Oh,
I actually looked it up because I was like, "Is this related?" But it's not.
Right,
I actually looked it up because I was curious because I was like, "I've heard about this, like the Dutchman," but the Dutchman is a ship. Right. This is not the ship. This is the gold mine. This is for like during the gold rush. Like this is during like the 1878, I guess he died in like 1890 something. His like thing is there or something. I saw like a photo of his like wherever, you know, the death thing where it says the dates he lived.
You mean his gravestone?
Yeah, I don't know why I forgot what it was called.
Is that the death thing you're talking about?
Yeah, well, across from the mountain range, there's a ghost town.
Cemetery?
There's a ghost town you can go to, and it's like preserved and everything. So it like it kind of looks like, because you know ghost towns were because everyone was the gold rush. So a lot of people set up, they were normal towns, but then they got turned to ghost towns and everyone left because like gold wasn't happening no more. So the mountain range had actually been called a few different names over the years before it became the Superstition Mountains. The Crooked Top Mountain, which is interesting. The Thunder Mountain, which makes sense because they call it the Thunder God. Yeah. And then the Mountain of Foam, which was like an interesting name.
Wait a minute, the Mountain of like Foam, F-O-A-M, like
foam? Yeah.
Or... Okay.
I was like, interesting. And then
why did it get that name, did they say?
I think it had to do with like flooding or something. I remember it saying that, but I was like... I was going over like a million different, because there was a lot about that, so I just kind of did the more interesting parts about the story. Because there's like so much stuff of like people just like so many people died trying to find this like treasure. Like
I can see.
There's even a History Channel TV show about someone actively trying to like find it now today.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty popular. What's it called? I was like the legend of the Dutchman,
really? Okay.
Dutchman's Mine or something is the name of the TV show.
All right, I'll
or something, if something like that. If you look it up, you'll probably find it. So the local farmers in the 1860s were the ones who ended up kind of naming it Superstition Mountain because they had heard numerous stories about people who disappeared, mysterious deaths, and strange sounds and decapitated heads. So that was a thing.
Yeah, creepy. Yep, I guess that would make you very superstitious.
Yeah. The mountains themselves are very dangerous for hikers and are deemed the most rugged within the United States wilderness system. Like, it's a hard, because of how it is, like, it's just like a straight up mountain. So it's really hard to get up to the top. Like, you have to look at photos of it. Because it's like when you think of, when you, like, look at, like, a mountain in a desert.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? Like, it's, like, just straight up and there's just, like, a thing
not a lot
top.
Of stuff to climb, you use to climb on in that, and it's probably very slippery and you can, like, slide back down.
Yeah. So this was like one of the stories. A few years ago, 3 guys from Utah went missing in the mountains, and they weren't found for months until a hiker discovered the skeletal remains of the 3, and they were just fully clothed. Isn't that crazy? People go
crazy.
like missing
Weird.
pretty often in this area.
Yeah. Huh.
And then while hiking in the Superstition, one can sometimes hear rumblings similar to a rolling thunder. And then geologists say that results from the seismic activity resonated by the canyon walls, which could explain why the Apache legend that the mountains were home to the thunder gods.
Right, that's why they always heard like the thunder noise. Okay.
So like it was like what? Yeah, because it would actually just make like these thunder sounds because of like tectonic plates and that kind of stuff. Which is interesting why they would call it that. So there was some sort of
truth to that story, I guess. Huh.
Yeah. And then another interesting disappearance. This is really recent. On August 12th, 2020, 25-year-old Cayman Welch disappeared without a trace while hiking on the Weaver's Needle Trail. Cayman wanted to watch the sunset at a scenic view, and at one point, Cayman told his uncle he wanted to find a better vantage point, so he walked away from his uncle, heading toward the trail, and then Cayman's uncle like turned away to walk towards the car like a little bit, and then when he turned around, he was just gone. So he waited for him because he thought maybe he just kind of went off on the trail by himself, and then he just never was found, and he got reported missing, and there's still people like searching today for him, which is crazy. But yeah, it was kind of sad. He went missing. But yeah, those are some of the insane things in the Superstition Mountains. But yeah, I'm like curious about the whole treasure thing. I know it's not treasure, but it's more a gold mine. Like, and people thought was true because when they found under his bed, apparently were like these gold nuggets that were worth like thousands of dollars at the time. So they were like, oh, clearly he found something, which kind of led to a lot of people believing it was true. Hopefully, I will get the chance to go check it out. I want to check out the ghost town.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Or just the mountain range. So hopefully, I'll be able to get some photos and be able to post them page.
That sounds cool.
All right, well, what are you covering today?
I'm covering the Golden Lamb, which is an inn and restaurant outside of Cincinnati in Lebanon and Ohio. The Golden Lamb Inn and Restaurant has been open since 1803. It is located in the historic Lebanon, Ohio, and it was once a popular point along a stagecoach line that was heading north from Cincinnati. The property has hosted some famous guests, including 12 U.S. presidents and the authors Charles Dickens and Harriet Beecher Stowe. So with this long history, the inn has been open. Obviously, there comes ghost stories. So one of the most famous resident ghosts that gets talked about a lot is a little girl ghost by the name of Sarah Stubbs. She once lived at the Golden Lamb with her uncle, who actually ran the inn when she was younger. Her parents had both died, and her house had caught on fire. So, and this was all at the age of 5 or 6. So she was very young when this, and very traumatic for her when it happened. So after they had passed away, she went to go live with her uncle at the Golden Lamb. And while she was there, she just had enjoyed herself there, and she got to run around the place and all that. So Sarah's ghost, her spirit still lives on at the inn, and they say that she is a very active spirit, and she actually has her own room at the inn, which is pretty crazy, yeah. They say that apparently her room is locked, so nobody can actually go in her room. But they have a plexiglass piece up. So, I guess they took the door off its hinges and they put a piece of plexiglass up so you can at least look in her room to see how it would have been set up when she was little. And they say that people have had all kinds of, crazy experiences just looking in the room. They can hear stuff going on in there. So, some of the stories about Sarah are that once she approached a guest who was staying, now this was probably a long time ago based off what the lady had on. She had on a fur coat, a really long one, and the little girl came up to her and was petting it because she thought it was a cat or something. Yeah. The lady got mad at her and told her to stop. I guess she was worried she was going to mess up her precious fur coat. So she yelled at the little girl to stop. But the crazy thing was, it wasn't a little girl, it was the little girl ghost, basically. And as soon as she yelled at her, the little girl ghost just disappeared instantly. Oh. And there happened to be several witnesses around when that incident happened. There was another time where a gentleman had been staying in one of the rooms there at the hotel, and he was going out of his room to go downstairs, I guess to eat dinner or something, or get a drink or whatever. And just as he's walking out of his room, he ends up tripping and he ends up falling on the floor. Now, all of a sudden, he hears a little girl laughing, okay? And he gets up, and there's, like, nobody out in the hall at this time when this happened. And he looks all around, and there's no little girl, or anyone, for that matter, anywhere near him. And he's just hearing, this little girl laughing, like she, was being silly and, made him fall. There was also another a story about a family had been waiting down near the actual restaurant, and they were waiting to get seated. And while they were waiting in line to get seated, the little boy in the family was tugging on his mom's dress and was like, "Hey, Mom, can I go play with that girl over there?" And the mom turns around and she's like, she's looking all around. There's no little girl to be seen. And she's like, "Well, where do you see the little girl at?" And the little kid was like, "Well, Mom, she's right over there on the stairs." So all the people go and they look, and yeah, there's no girl there. There's like nothing there, basically, that the little boy was pointing at and talking to. So those are some of the actual experiences that individuals have had. Other people have had things happen, such as when they look in the room, like they'll walk by one time and everything will be a certain way, and they'll walk back by the room again like a few minutes later, if they went for ice or something, and everything will be all changed in the room. Some people claim that they can hear laughter, like a little kid's laughter coming from the room. There is a rocking chair in the room that is the actual rocking chair that was gifted to Sarah when she was little from an aunt of hers. And they say sometimes you can see the chair moving by itself. Other times people have heard like running going on in the room, and there's nobody. I mean, because you can see right in the room, and there's like nobody in there, but you can hear a little kid's footsteps running around the room. That's some of the stuff that goes on in Sarah's room. And according to records, they say that as many as 17 people have died at the Golden Lamb over all the years that it's been open. Now, the 4th floor is one of the most active areas in the whole entire inn, where people will just have like random doors will open on their own to rooms when there's no guest in them. The people that work at the hotel, the staff there, they've said they've heard like doors open and slam on the floor when there's no guest staying there at all. They also have several rooms that have been named after some of the presidents, and there's like a Charles Dickens room there that's named after him and stuff. And there's one particular room there that's haunted by a gentleman that had stayed there one time because he was in the middle of a court case, and he stayed there. Apparently the story was this guy shot someone, but he says it was by accident, and they're trying to figure out, how did this guy accidentally like let off the gun or whatever. So him and these other guys that work there were trying to reenact this, and when they reenact it, he had one gun that had like 3 shots left in it in the barrel of the gun, and he put it in his room. Well, he had a gun that they were going to use. So the guy had these 2 guns in his room, and he took them both back and put them on the dresser, and he ended up mixing them up. He was going to use the gun that had no bullets in it in the courtroom to show people how this guy might have accidentally shot this person. And he chose the wrong gun, and when he went to do the reenactment, he ended up shooting himself like in his stomach. Yeah,
oh my God.
He got sick, like, really quick. I mean, obviously he's bleeding everywhere, but apparently he shot through, like, his bowels.
Oh my God!
So his, like, all of his stomach and his, everything was, like, starting to get inside of his system, and he didn't die at the actual courtroom hearing, but he died in the hotel in his bed there. And they say that he comes back to haunt it. He's just making sure everything's okay there because he liked when he stayed there. He would stay there often. He really liked the Golden Inn. So he's kind of like a keeper at the Golden Inn, and he kind of makes sure that, the inn's okay and that people are, being respectful of the place, basically. But yeah, so that's some of the stories of some of the activity that goes on at the Golden Inn. I really highly recommend people checking it out. You're allowed to stay there. It's still open today. You can stay in one of the rooms. As for the 4th floor, that's the most haunted floor, and that's where the most activity seems to occur. The restaurant is really good. If you're, you like fancy food, that's a really nice place to go. And the whole town of Lebanon is really cute. They have like a lot of really neat little shops if you like to go to like little small towns and go shopping in that. But yeah, so that's all I have for you is about the little girl Sarah that hangs out at the Golden Lamb supposedly, and
yep,
how it's haunted there. So
you should go hang out at the Superstition Mountains.
I know, right? It sounds like
don't
fun.
hike alone. Pretty
yeah,
spooky.
Just don't do it alone or in the dark. Probably, pretty much. When we come back when we're back for our next podcast episode, we will have to let you all know. We'll tell you guys what we did and the cool place that we're going. Actually, there's 2 cool places we're going to, but the one is specific to the podcast and stuff.
It's allegedly haunted.
Yeah, and it ties in really well to the podcast, so we'll just leave it at that.
It'll be a surprise.
Probably most of you can probably figure out where we're going. Yeah, because
it's very famous.
Yeah.
For what it is.
All right, so.
Yeah, if you enjoyed our podcast today, follow us on Instagram at Two Scaredy Cats Podcast, and please be sure to leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It really helps the show get discovered. And tune in 2 weeks for a new episode. And to all our scaredy cats and kittens out there, remember, curiosity ain't kill these 2 scaredy cats.